my life has changed. I no longer crave so much so that my discipline for how I want my life to look goes out the window at any circumstance. Even at those that I may crave, even in the slightest, it does not go away. When you get a good enough streak to where your balls are full, your mind is clear, you're calm, you're slow to act and manipulate, you begin to see the world for what it's truly worth. I feel like the enjoyment that I was seeking in my life has come to me in such a radical new way that it's actually more meaningful than I could have ever thought. And the greatest, like even today, one of my friends, more of my acquaintance, he asked me, it's like, dude, how do you have fun not drinking? He doesn't know that I do retention, but he knows that I don't drink. And I said, I don't know. I don't think I have much fun. I just have a lot of enjoyment. And he was like, interesting. And it's kind of where the conversation stopped, but I knew to myself, I knew what I had said was true. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, I do have a lot of fun living the life that I live. It's just living it. It's not like that I need alcohol or that I need a substance or that fun is limited to an alcohol or a substance or even experience. It's that there's a consistent amount of fun constantly. That was a big moment for me. I was like, dang, my life has actually changed. Like, to going through a flat line that was so deep and depressing, to having moments throughout the days where, they constantly eat at your mind. Now I have tools in my tool belt from doing retention, like meditation, working out, better perceived physical attraction, better eyes, better eyesight, better presence, that have changed my experience day to day so radically that I don't really know how to not love it. I don't know. One of the big issues that we have nowadays is this crave. We're all looking for some sort of spiritual satisfaction. We're all looking for peace and love. And I know that may be very cliche and very heady, but the things we do are actually far, like the things that we engage in day to day and the reasons why we engage in them and many of the problems that we have are far deeper, hardwired into us than we may realize. And that's because we've never, if we haven't been on a spiritual journey or a spiritual practice, tried to unwind those. But when we do, we notice that not just the thing that we're dealing with changes. Our entire lives change. Your sexuality, when you were growing up as a kid, was not properly taught to you if you would struggle with PMO, pornography, masturbation, orgasm. And here's why. Think about this. When you were a kid, you You are taught how to speak. You're taught language. You're taught how to add and multiply. You're taught how to properly exist in the world, what you should say, what you shouldn't say, yada, yada, yada. These basic fundamental things, though, these are very, very basic. Think about if someone taught you that your feet were hands and your hands were feet. Now, you're going to go through your entire life, right? You're going to probably get better at using your feet as hands and vice versa. But you're going to run into roadblocks at the end of the day, and you're not living according to how God and the world is to provide for you. You may get very good, but you're never going to be fully complete. That's not even the best analogy that I can possibly give, but it is a good baseline to start thinking about how our sexuality has been taught to us. Our sexuality had an intended purpose, so incredibly intentional that it dealt more with the spirit than we ever could have realized. And one of the things that the spirit does is it guides our personality, who we are, who we act as moment to moment behind closed doors, in each and every situation, the way our thought processes go, and what we interact with inside of our minds all makes up really who we actually are. Some people are better at dealing with other things than others, and as a result, they may be a little bit different. And that is due to many different factors: age, maturity, learnedness, spirituality, and then like genetics as well. There are many pillars that your spirit stands on, but because sexuality is such a powerful one that directs many aspects of who we are, we can't see what it's like for that to change until it begins to change. So it's like if someone were to tell you how to throw a fastball in the MLB, it's like, yeah, you may understand how to throw a ball, but you don't understand how to throw a ball at 90 miles an hour. And on top of that, you don't have the ability to, but you could if you trained enough. And those are some of the pillars that we need to take into our sexuality and focusing on retention. When we focus on retention as a way to properly engage with our sexuality, so when we recognize first that our sexuality has an intended purpose, we may not completely understand what that purpose looks like, but we do understand that the actions of porn, engaging with porn and masturbating, are wrong, okay? And we do understand that we have a divine purpose with our sexuality that may not be due to hookups or sleeping around. We begin to develop the idea that there may be some merit to retention, as well as the practices of the early Christian texts, the Buddhist practice and Taoist practices, what the Freemasons have said. All these things kind of allude to the fact that there is some merit to this process. But the first is a recognition that how we are going about it in the first place is bad. The second is actually doing it. And as we do it, we develop a spiritual renaissance. And we have to engage with that whether we like it or not. Because if we don't engage with it, it will consume us. And if we do engage with it, it will work with us, per se. We will have some sort of control over it, and that associated control is associated with the personality changes that we need to unlock. The conflict is actually what's most important when it comes to actually getting off pornography. You need to go through the struggle, because the struggle is what allows you to face the facts. The hardest parts of this practice are the most influential, and that's because they're freeing up space for your spirit to grow. Now, I can't explain each and every little detail of why that makes sense, but that is the truth. Me, myself, I have found that to be the most true representation of growth, is that when it gets hard on retention, retention gets better. Not in the moment, but preceding the hardness. So the first is the recognition that what we're doing is wrong and there's merit to the practice. The second is the engagement and the understanding that when engaged with, it's not going to be easy. And that is perfectly fine with us because we want the personality traits to come back. We want to feel fully ourselves, fully masculine, fully powerful in God's plan for us to be powerful. So how do we do that? Well, like I said, we go through the hard parts. But the biggest one is your own personal conditioning. So here's the hard part. We understand that pornography is wrong. We understand that the chase, the sexual want for these terrible things and engaging with these women who are not for us is wrong. But we don't know why we want them. I know why I wanted what I wanted now. I know why I wanted to engage with porn. I know why I wanted to engage with women that had no place being in my life. I know why I wanted to masturbate. I know it. I know it now. It took several months, several tries, and a long streak of 60 plus days here that I now know what I was dealing with all those years. I wanted to be emotionally validated by women. I just wanted the ability to feel like someone, specifically a woman, cared about my emotions. And if she did, right, then I was able to let those emotions attach to her. Instead, what I should have been doing is emotionally not seeking emotional validation and working on self-discipline and self-mastery so that my emotions were under my control. Not that they needed to go anywhere else but stay inside of me and deal with me as they please. They can go and they can come and go. I don't care. They may be rough. They may be mild. And most of the time they're mild. But the more that I deal with them, I grow from them. Like I said, this process is like, because it's hard, therefore it's worth it. So the more that I did that, it was like opening up my spirit to see the brighter side of my personality, which was a man who was very in control. And little by little, 30 days in, 40 days in, it's like you don't see these changes, but now after 60 days, it's like I can't unsee what's been done. We have this conditioning. We have a reason why we want these things. You may not be able to see it now, but what it takes is some cognitive dissonance. It takes the distance. You need to have distance from the behavior to look at the behavior. You can't look at something in its full scope when you're inside of it because you don't have its full parameters, its full measurements, its full understanding. And that's really the issue. The issue is not that, you try and you fail and you suck. No, it's not that, man. It's not. You are a winner, man, in many ways. All it takes is some distance from this. And once you get that down, you will get there, okay? You will. But when we understand that the distance is necessary to fully have the scope of what's going on inside of us, then we have power over it. We genuinely have control over it. If I can name the problem, if I can name what's wrong, it's going to be 10 times easier to get to a solution than just shooting in the dark. Okay? If you don't even know what's wrong, how are you supposed to identify how to go about it? And what I've noticed through this process, man, is, I just don't care anymore about the chase. There's girls that you talk to and I don't have to respond to them. Like, if one of the biggest killers of like early relationships is like getting too emotionally attached, a man getting too emotionally attached, and the woman leading the relationship. And communication constantly, you constantly talk to these women. Here's how I act in life now when it comes to women, when it comes to anything. But I'm going to talk about it through the lens of women, specifically right now, and then I'm going to connect that to the rest of my life. I live my life doing whatever I need to do during my day. God has given me beautiful tasks to get done. I have chores, I have a bedtime, I have stuff to do, I have personal care things that I need to do every day. And I do those. And I also do my work. And I also go to work. I do my schooling. I do everything that is required of me in my day. And I do it to the best of my abilities because I have so much motivation and focus through this practice. If a woman is to come into my life, then so be it. I do not have to engage with her any more than what is necessary, because my life is being led by God. I do not need to make a move for God to act. All I need to do is prioritize the movement of my life, and everything else will move with me, okay? What you need to be focusing on is not women. Do not focus on women. The second you focus on women, even for a millisecond, for a moment, for any amount of passion in your heart, you are losing. You are losing everything that you've built. You're losing your willpower. You're losing your power. You're losing your discipline instantaneously. What you need to be doing is thinking to yourself that God knows what He wants for your life. The universe knows what needs to happen for your life to happen in accordance with the beauty of it playing out in front of your eyes. So you don't need to worry about things taking their course. And in fact, when you let them move freely without any sort of mental or emotional control or attachment, then you act in according to how things should be acted towards every single situation. You always make the right decision. You always understand the right path in every instance, in every experience. I myself, like I said, I don't care. Like, I'm talking to these girls. Like, there's this one girl that I'm going on a date with, and I noticed that in my past relationships, what I do is I get way too emotionally attached, and this has led me to taking a time away from women. Now I'm going on this date with this girl. I've barely texted her on my own accord. She's texting me. I feel like I'm leading the relationship, that this little tiny relationship, but I feel like I'm leading it. I feel like I am in full control. She's interested in me. I know that. I don't have to be interested in her. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to make actions if I don't want to make actions. I make actions for purposes. There is no purpose that this woman is fulfilling in my life. And it's not something that I'm like forcing myself to do. This is something that I feel inside my heart that's natural. It feels good. It doesn't feel bad. It doesn't feel any which way. I felt like before, when I was releasing all the time, if a woman wouldn't text me back, I felt cheated. It's like, no, bro, they're just not for you. Move on, get out of your head. Like, that's what needed to be happening, but I couldn't do that. Retention gave me the ability to not give a flying frick if a woman was texting me or not texting me. I just know if she's texting me, maybe there's some sort of reason for that. Maybe I engage with it, maybe I don't. Doesn't matter. I engage with what I need to engage with. I'm looking for a woman who fulfills my purpose, not my bodily functions, not my desires of my heart. No, I'm looking for someone who fulfills a purpose in my life. It's a completely different way of going about things. This practice will change you as a man. Nobody told you the right way to go about your sexuality, and as a result, we have so many skewed people out there. I genuinely thank God for for the people on this channel and in the comment section saying the things that they've been saying. You guys are the ones that are keeping me sane. You guys are the ones out there that I know are grinding, and you know right from wrong. You know it's right, you know what you need to pursue, and you know what's wrong, you know what you need to purge. It's so beautiful to see. It's so beautiful to see. I thank God every single day for this community, and I genuinely, I genuinely don't know how the world would stand without men like this. These are the guys that are carrying the weight, man. The spiritual weight, the spiritual closeness to the Lord. These are the guys out here that are carrying the weight. I'm so focused now on work. Like, I'm so focused on growing my financial status. I'm so focused on growing my YouTube here. I have a lot of ideas for things that I want to do with this. I have a lot of ideas for things that I want to do in the future with just like work and my career and personal growth and other dudes and experiences. There's just so much here in this world for us, and we don't take advantage of it because we can't see the beauty in it. And now that I can, and I'm starting to see it, and it's all coming back to me, I feel so free to run, man. Like, genuinely. Like, there is a liberation happening inside my heart that happens at such a deep, profound level. I am not the same man. I really hope every guy out there gets to experience the beauty that I've experienced in my life. This isn't a purification only. This is a spiritual renaissance. It is a brand new awakening, because no one ever told me the reality of how my sexual activity and how my sexuality plays into the spiritual part of my life, plays into the essence of my life. And now I'm experiencing that to its full weight, and it is insane. I love life. I love living. I'm confident in that. I love my life. I know I will do great things. I know I will achieve my dreams. I know I will find the right woman someday, and I know God is leading me on the right path. I know it in my heart, man. I want you to know it too. I want every guy to know it. Once you start getting past a lot of the emotional flatness, and you start getting into, the tools that are going to get you through all this bullshit that you've encountered on this journey, and all this rough stuff that you get locked in, man, like flat lines. And once you start to figure out how to go about how to deal with all this stuff, and you have all these tools in your tool belt, you have all these thinking patterns to get you through the day, you feel so bulletproof, man. So bulletproof. Like, it's insane. And now, my goal is to do something great with it. Your energy is meant for beauty. God put us here to create this world beautiful, to tend and to cultivate the garden, do great things with what we've been given. And most people don't have that capacity. Retention gave me that capacity. God gave me that back. I am forever changed. I am forever standing strong with the Lord. There's many people like me that can't be me because they don't see me. They don't see the truth. And that's unfortunate. I'm trying to think what other things I've been experiencing recently. As I get deeper into the streak, there is this like overall arching understanding of like reading through my journals and reading and getting deeper into my hobbies that I am changing just at a fundamental level so much more than I can even understand, that it's a little difficult to see. Not like difficult, but like it's more challenging to understand who I am at times. Not like I still have a very deep sense of presence. I still have a very deep sense of love for myself, but like it's hard to understand who I'm becoming. Like I've never met this guy before. I don't know how he reacts in every situation, and oftentimes he surprises me for the better, which I love, but it's like so weird because I feel like at times I'm imposter syndroming a feeling that should not be there, like fear. Like, why am I afraid? Like, if I just had this fear gone, then I could just tap into myself a little bit deeper and I would get over whatever I was fearing. And so you may not ever get rid of the difficulties of the spiritual attack of fear, or shame, or sadness, or something like that, whatever. Sadness is not really a spiritual attack, but just like you may not get over some things all the time, but what you do get over slowly and little by little is these micro adjustments in your person, that like, if like most anger starts out at a very small temptation, and you just kill it automatically. It's just too small. It'd have to come out at you a little bit harder, a little bit more intense, a little bit more elusive to really affect me, or really affect someone who's deep into retention, because you have a self-mastery that is far greater, that exceeds your person. But yeah, this practice has been amazing. If you guys have any questions specifically about things you want me to elaborate deeper on, or like if you think that I've gone through this, or you're going through something, and maybe I've probably gone through it as well. If you're going through something, man, and it's hard, or it's great, or amazing, whatever, throw it down in the comments, man. I will read it and I will respond to you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. I will respond to you. I know how difficult it is to get feedback on some of this stuff. So like, if you genuinely have a question, bro, I will answer it. And if you want to talk more, like we can DM on Reddit. Like I'll DM you on Reddit for 100%. But there's so much to be had in this world, man. I just want everyone to see it. So, and like the video if you liked it. Sub if you want to see more content like this. I'm going to start posting some fitness content here soon, and just talk about masculinity overall on this channel. I just want to get this channel to be a masculine dump of information, energy, personal experience, ways to get yourself back and to live a happy, healthy, holistic life. That is the way this channel is going to be moving. And we're almost at 1,000 subs. I said I want to hit 1,000 subs before the end of the year, and I think we're going to hit that. Let's try and do 1,200 before the end of the year. We can move the goalpost a little bit because it is only the beginning of December. And 1,200, I think is... Actually, you know what? 1,500. Let's try and do 1,500 before the end of the year. If we can get to 1,500, then I'll post a couple fitness videos and see how those do as well. And... see what we can really do with this channel and who we can really touch. And, you know, there's a lot here. And I love it. I feel so incredibly blessed by all this. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good day and stay retained.